True.
Just happening to say, if they did not need your consent to carry out their atrocities, then they would not spend so much time and money and effort trying to manufacture it. So, bang, before the invasion of Iraq, before we killed 1 million Iraqi civilians, before we expanded that war into the larger region and spent $300 million per day, every day, for 20 years in Afghanistan alone, before all that, Colin Powell got his beady-eyed ass up in front of Congress and lied about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction. And you know what the U.S. media, aka the government stenographers, did? They played that shit wall to wall until they could whip you into a pro-American exceptionalist frenzy. They did the same thing to justify the expansion. They did the same thing to justify the invasion of Libya. And most recently, they used this very same playbook to justify U.S. involvement in the war on Ukraine. If they did not need your consent and your American tax doll hairs to commit their atrocities, they would not be working so hard to manufacture it. Now, the North remembers, okay, that the imaginary state is committing genocide. They are systemically and forcibly starving millions of men, women, and children in Gaza while they bomb them and shoot them for trying to get humanitarian aid, all right? And while they're doing that, they are also bombing their neighbors with the expressed intent to expand and forcibly colonize their land. Someone said that liberalism functions to humanize American imperialism, and I would really take it a step further than that. I would say that some of y'all use your American exceptionalism and your right to comfort as a justification for the brutality of the American imperialist system. Because we must ask ourselves, how can a country that was founded on the genocide of the indigenous people of Turtle Island, how can a country that built its wealth with and by enslaved African people sustain its expansion? And the answer is because they have expanded their systems of domination to include slavery through mass incarceration in this country and the subjugation of the global South for their resources. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment a bear emoji, because a bitch can barely keep up.
All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to
Beanie bringing the
episode.
facts and fire as always.
Yeah, that's true. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 14 of the A&M podcast. I'm Andre, and he's Mike, aka Left Independent, and we come to you live from the ATP Network. You can catch the ATP Network on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, Twitch, and Twitter, and now Kick. So yeah, we everywhere. So yeah, Mike, what is your thoughts on that banger video by Feeney?
Yeah, she brought the facts in the fire. Definitely. I am old enough to remember the lead up to the invasion and occupation of Iraq, and yeah, the bullshit was flying constantly. Uh, January of 2002, no 2003. George W. Bush got up before Congress in his State of the Union lie fest and lied to the American people, claiming that Saddam Hussein had gassed his own people. And in fact, the evidence for that was always shaky because Stephen C. Pelletier, who was a senior analyst for the at the CIA for the Iran-Iraq War during the 1980s, uh, published an op-ed like the day after, saying, look, this is what happens. All we know is that the Iraqi Kurds were gassed. We don't know if which side did it because both sides used chemical weapons. And what evidence we do have suggests that Kurdish guerrillas fighting on the side of Iran might have taken friendly fire because the conditions of the bodies indicated cyanide-based blood agent that Iraq didn't have, but which Iran did have.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was just some of the endless bullshit that was sold to us, along with the Uranian yellow cake lie that was debunked by Joe Wilson, whose wife was then whose his wife was a CIA officer, uh, non-official cover. Now she had been assigned to a desk job stateside at the time, but the Bush Cheney regime outed her as CIA anyway
Right.
through its media whores like Judy Miller and uh, the, this guy from Crossfire, Robert something. But but yeah, it was not wall to wall lies.
Yeah.
And when one lie
Yeah.
got debunked, they just recycled it and pushed it again.
Yeah. And you know what else, Mike? That really, like I really regret as a youngin, like I was real young back then. I believed that shit because at the time I believed, I thought that our government will, supposed to be transparent and honest with us.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
supposed to be, but I mean, you're not the only one, all right? I mean, a lot of people,
Oh,
put their trust in institutions, and it's understandable because people want to believe that their government would actually be honest and upfront with them,
yeah, yeah.
and
But
realizing that they're just full of so much bullshit. It's not a good thing to realize. So,
yeah,
but
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So before
So
we get to our main topic, I just wanted to show you something because uh, J.K. Howling, who's who's been increasingly unhinged with her anti-trans, uh, had this to post in response to someone saying, how are you planning to police public toilets? And Howling says, quite easily, really, decent men will stay out as they always have, so we can assume all who don't are a threat. Given their disregard for women's and girls' safety, privacy, and dignity, photographing, reporting, and disseminating such men's images online will be a piece of cake. So basically, saying because the central lie that transphobes like J.K. Howling tell with regards to trans women is that they're trying to
yeah.
invade women's spaces so that they can commit sexual assault
Oh my
or
God.
spy on women like perverts. So her solution to this is to send people into women's restrooms to spy on them like perverts and photograph them and presumably, I don't know, try to take pictures of their genitalia or see if they have prominent Adam's apples. I mean, I don't know what exactly they think they're going to do,
Jesus Christ, man, bro, you can't even
but
have
the
security.
comments, yeah, the comments
Yeah,
basically involve threats of vigilante violence.
but you can't even have security cameras in the bathroom. So how, like, so you can't
Yeah,
fucking photograph people like that. What the fuck?
yeah,
Oh
and
God.
here's another thing: is I was a janitor at my church about 9 years ago, and so I had to go into the women's restroom to clean it, but
Yeah.
obviously always after it had been cleared out, like usually when the building was closed and no one else was in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are cleaning crews in public restrooms at, like, say, sports stadiums or whatever. Uh, they don't avoid sending people in there just because, I mean, obviously they have to make sure no one. If you're a male janitor and you're sent in to clean the ladies' room, then yeah, you got to make sure that it's cleared out first.
Yeah. They usually like close it down or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Same
Yeah.
thing with the men's restroom. They usually
Hmm.
just wait until everyone's out and then close it down so they can go clean. Uh, but what? I see. The thing that they're not taking into consideration is that most rapists are not going to go through the trouble of dressing up and pretending to be women just to go in and commit rape.
Right.
Statistically speaking, that doesn't happen at all. Now, they might
Yeah.
get a janitor's uniform or something and then go in there, but that doesn't involve growing their hair out or getting breast implants or taking hormone treatment, all of which trans women do.
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
But
Like we
yeah,
like.
but these idiots think all trans women are just obvious men in dresses with like unshaven beards and wigs or whatever. It's like, no, that's not what trans women look like.
Nah. Like you said, Mike. We talked about this off camera, but it ain't nothing secretive. I think everybody knows what the deal is. It's just these people like they have some kind of fetish. And they just,
Yeah,
I guess
it, yeah.
they
Every
rage
right
at it.
wing accusation is a confession.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. It's just I like at this point, man. Like when I see stuff like that, it just I just like it used to trigger me at first. Cause I'm like, these people are not fucking with you guys. Like, why y'all? But I know why they do what they do. Not only the fetish thing, but they have an agenda. It's to divide the working class because trans people, gay people, straight people, we all in the same class. So what they do is, they tell the other people that are not trans, hey, the trans people are the problem, but actually it's the fucking billionaires that's the problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, I get it.
yeah, and one of the things that the Nazi Ukraine has perfected is playing on transphobia in Russia and other countries, uh, by using cisgender actors dressed up to look like, for example, when Gonzalo Lira, who is a Ukrainian intelligence asset, he was an American citizen who went to Ukraine to ostensibly to report on what was going on and puff himself up as some kind of citizen journalist, got himself arrested by the Ukrainian Gestapo and then released as an intelligence asset because
Yeah.
obviously it's a Ukrainian intelligence asset. Nobody just escapes or gets let go from a Ukrainian prison
Yeah.
without being turned into an intelligence asset.
Yeah.
And everyone from Scott Ritter to actually a number of journalists noted his change in behavior, where he started like trying to grill them for info, like where they were broadcasting from, their locations or whatever. And they started noticing a pattern. It's like, yeah, this guy's trying to gather info here. He's been compromised. And of course, Lyra's supporters pretty much gobbled it up and uh, pretty much gobble up anything with regards to Ukraine uh, and the trolling that goes on. So one of the things that they hired as a male actor to wig and a stuffed bra, a military uniform, and talking what the trans folk think is a trans voice, like an effeminate male gay guy. And then he just starts trolling. Yeah, we neutralized the Russian spy Gonzalo Lira, even though he was a Ukrainian spy. But they knew that this would trigger the transphobes.
Yeah,
People like
exactly.
Ritter, people like Brian Berletic, people like the Duran, and basically the right wing manosphere YouTubers. So that's the
They,
kind of thing that, but it's also used to kind of troll trans people too, because nobody wants to question if someone claiming to be trans is actually trans.
yeah,
So that's how a lot of feds get to manipulate people online and divide and conquer among the left, because they don't show their faces. So how do you know if this person is who he or she says? You can kind of tell through
yeah.
certain behaviors that this person, if it's not a fed, it's who's
It's a lot of
using fed tactics to try and sow division among the left.
it's a lot of fed. Oh man. I talked about this to another comrade earlier, man. Yeah. It's like these days especially on social media. If you're on the left, you got to be careful who you talk to, cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a lot of
because
fucking
yeah, because
ops.
this uh, guy in the wig uh, cosplaying as a trans woman for Ukraine, uh, people who are trans activists gobble this up and use, because it's also used to start hatred against Russia. Because you're a trans activist, and Ukraine supposedly is tolerating this trans woman. Uh, because Russia is anti-trans and anti-gay, but then again, so is most, if not all, of NATO. In some
Exactly.
cases, it's a lot worse in Russia. So, uh, yeah, if you think Nazi Ukraine is not using this guy for
Yeah.
optics, or that it's tolerant towards, well, I guarantee you, no, they're not. Nazis are not tolerant towards trans people. Okay, just like there were Jewish collaborators, there were also gay collaborators who served their purpose until they were no longer considered useful, and then they were shipped off to the uh, death camps along with everyone else.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, that's the kind of thing that ends up getting done. And now, of course, you've got people like J.K. Howling and Posey Parker and Graham Linehan and all these other assholes who flip their shit at the merest sight of a trans woman.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true, man. Yeah. Just a bunch of fucking clowns, man. Yeah. So uh let me
Now,
see.
the thing is, though, and let me just share my screen real quick again. Um,
Okay.
but Wizarding News, which used to be a Harry Potter fan account, has since become very vocally critical of J.K. Howling. But he said, hey, Met Police UK, is it legal in the UK to take a photograph of a stranger in a public toilet, as Harry Potter author J.K. Howling is dangerously advocating? And then he shares a screenshot. Potential consequences: if someone is photographed without consent in a public toilet, he or she may take civil action against a photographer for breach of privacy. Additionally, taking indecent photographs in this context could be considered a criminal offense under UK law.
And some people might be a big J.K. Howling fan, and they probably would be crazy enough to try to do that shit, but they probably don't know
Well,
they
my
have
my
laws
older
against
half
that shit.
brother some years ago threatened to stand outside of women's restrooms to guard it against trans people, and threatened violence. And after that, I kind of laid into him and cut him off after that. But and of course, the little bitch blocked me on Facebook as well,
Oh my god.
because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. My mother and older brother are huge Trump fans, and yeah.
Oh Lord.
Uh,
Man.
Yeah,
Uh
I've got quite the family. Half of them are extreme right wing Republicans. The other half are extreme right wing Democrats, or brunch Democrats, as I call them, because they just hide their extremism under the cloak of civility. But
yeah.
this
Yeah.
is kind of shit that we have to deal with. This
Yeah.
cultural bullshit where the focus is on identity politics, like the Democrats use identity politics to try and get people to vote for their candidates against their own interests, whereas the Republicans use identity politics to claim there's some kind of like woke culture war. It's like they're not actually woke.
No.
Because if you actually look at how minorities are depicted in movies and television, they're awful people. Like, especially on like
It's
if it
true.
was
That's
Stephen
true.
Moffat. It's like, for example, Stephen Moffat, who ran Doctor Who and Sherlock and did a adaptation of Dracula in recent years. Uh, his only depiction of LGBTQIA people, they're either the comic relief for a given episode, or it's used as a symptom of insanity or evil.
Yeah.
And if that's the depiction that you're going to go with when depicting people who are uh, gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgender or whatever, if your only depictions of them are only ever negative or in a mocking tone, how is that wokeness?
It's not. They don't even know the definition of woke. That's not
Yeah,
what
I
the
know.
definition
I mean,
is. What?
yeah, it's like woke is just means that you're woken up to systemic inequalities. Okay, just the mere
Yeah.
presence of minorities in media is not enough to call something woke. You have to actually look at what is actually being said in the story and how minorities are depicted. Like if you turn a minority into a Mary Sue or a Gary Sue or an object of ridicule or the villain, that's not wokeness.
Nah. Nah.
If you want to
Nah.
see real wokeness, go watch Star Trek DS9, the episode Far Beyond the Stars. That is woke. Okay, some of the best
Yeah.
television ever produced in the 19, in my humble
Yeah.
opinion. If you
Man,
want
if
to
they
see
only brought back that.
woke, watch the television show Rock, starring the talented Charles S. Dutton
Yeah.
and a highly talented
For sure.
cast of professional stage and screen thespians. I mean, they were not
Yes.
afraid to be hitting stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, man. But yeah. But again, like I just believe people like they say things to trigger, you know, I hate to use this word, to trigger the libs. I think that's what it really is about. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, so
Yeah. So now let's get to the topic that we came here to watch
yeah.
because shit's getting real. Uh,
Oh
so, in
boy.
response to the missile attack last night on Iran that targeted the Iranian nuclear sites, Iranian missiles fired after the strikes caused heavy damage, but few injuries in Tel Aviv and Haifa. So this is from AP News Network. You've got Tel Aviv hours after the U.S. struck three nuclear sites. Iran launched more than 40 missiles towards Israel on Sunday, wounding 23 people and destroying apartment buildings and homes in 3 cities. An impact site in Tel Aviv, the blast had sheared off the face of a multi-story residential building and damaged several others, including a nursing home, in a radius of hundreds of meters. But few people were wounded, as many residents had been evacuated and others made it to bomb shelters. So basically, they waited for people to clear out before they struck the place. But look at the level of destruction here.
Holy shit.
But they're
And that's not
targeting
Gaza.
military installations that were built close to residential areas. Uh, so this is basically collateral damage. It's not the target. They actually hit military and intelligence sites. Uh, they've been hitting Mossad headquarters, Haifa oil refinery, military bases, airfields, to the point now where Israel now has to it now has to have its air force take off from bases in Jordan and Saudi Arabia because it's no longer able to from its own territory.
Yeah. Yeah. Iran came with a vengeance, man. too.
Yeah, so Deputy Mayor Chaim Gorin, who assisted at the scene, said it was nevertheless miraculous that more people were not hurt. Well, that's because the Iranians, unlike the Israelis, aren't actually targeting civilians. They don't go out of their way to target civilians the way Israel does. That's why there were so few injured.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is yeah. And then Berger said he hoped the war would that Iran would end soon. Most of the tit for tat this end with a lot of tears, but they're already they're basically saying yeah we're not really actually taking any consequences. But here's a what the United States failed to consider is the Strait of Hormuz because Iran is moving to close the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian parliament has approved a measure to close the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global oil choke point after the United States bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran, according to Iranian state media on Sunday. While the parliament has voted in favor of closing the strait, the final decision rests with the country's Supreme National Security Council, according to state media. Closing the strait, located between Iran and Oman, could have serious implications for both the global and U.S. economy. Caligula Trump on Saturday night announced that the United States had bombed 3 nuclear sites, engaging U.S. forces in a war that Israel launched 2 weeks ago. In a brief address on Saturday night, the dictator warned of continued U.S. attacks if on Iran if peace does not come quickly. So basically, calling on Iran to surrender unconditionally. So basically, if Iran closes off the Strait of Hormuz, about 20% of the world's global crude oil supply gets cut off.
Yeah.
And Iran can maintain this shit indefinitely. And like I said on our stream last night, they can hit our naval vessels and even sink them.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. So more fatalities in the U.S. economy finna go under.
Yeah, and on
Well,
top
that's
of
that.
that,
Hey, consequences.
yeah,
You
and
know,
on
you
top
gonna
of that,
attack they?
now
Yeah.
Trump is attacking Congressman Thomas Massey of
Yeah.
Kentucky in the House of Representatives. Uh, so he says, Congressman Thomas Mackey of Kentucky is not MAGA, even though he likes to say he is. Actually, MAGA doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. He's a negative force who almost always votes no, no matter how good something may be. Notice how Trump always talks like that guy from The Office,
Yeah.
not The Office, Office Space,
Office space. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
or like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. Have you ever noticed that the cadence
Yeah.
that he speaks in?
Yeah.
He's a simple-minded grandstander who thinks it's good politics
Grandstander.
for Iran to have the highest level nuclear weapon, while at the same time yelling death to America at every chance they get.
Oh
Iran
God.
has killed and maimed thousands of Americans. They even took over the American embassy in Tehran under the Carter administration.
Oh Lordy.
We had a spectacular military success yesterday, taking the bomb right out of their hands, and they would use it if they could. Of course, leaving out that Iran has never been working on a nuclear weapon since 2003. Uh,
Yeah.
but as usual, and despite all the praise and accolades received, this lightweight congressman is against what was so brilliantly achieved last night in Iran. Massey is weak, ineffective, and votes no on virtually everything put before him. Rand Paul Jr., no matter how good something may be, is disrespectful to our great military and all that they stand for, not even acknowledging their brilliance and bravery in yesterday's attack, which was a total and complete win.
Yeah. Ain't moving.
Massey should drop his fake act and start putting America first. But he doesn't know how to get there. He doesn't have a clue. He'll undoubtedly vote against that great, big, beautiful bill, even though non passage means a 68% tax increase for everybody, and many things far worse than that. MAGA should drop this pathetic loser, Tom Massey, like the plague. The good news is that we will have a wonderful American patriot running against him in the Republican primary, and I'll be out in Kentucky campaigning really hard. MAGA is not about lazy, grandstanding, non-productive politicians, of which Thomas Massey is definitely one. Thank you for your Thank you to our incredible military for the amazing job they did last night. It was really special. Make America great again. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that
What
a
the?
kindergarten student writes.
Oh my God, bro. Bro, I think Thomas Massey will be even more popular after this. Think about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Trump
yeah,
is toxic right now.
yeah. Manga is pretty much falling apart at the seams right now because
Oh boy.
half of them, like the half that got duped into thinking Trump was actually anti-war, although I don't know how. He never gave any indication of being anti-war,
But you
but
know,
he was sold as being more anti-war than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
because he
You
just
know,
said,
so and
yeah,
the non-interventionist wing of the Republican Party, and there is still one, amazingly
yeah,
enough. Uh, but you know that they were goaded into voting for this clown shoe, and they're understandably upset because they were sold this lie of him being against war,
yeah.
and here he is interfering in a war that Israel started.
Hold on, Mike. I gotta show you something, man. Man, man, MAGA is fucking like, yeah, they are fucking um self-destructing, man, as we speak. Look at this, man, from Texas Patriot. I voted for mass deportations. I voted for cheap gas, cheap groceries. I voted for arrests. I voted for the Epstein files to be released. I voted for wasteful spending cuts. I did not vote for war.
Well, he certainly got the mass deportation thing,
Yeah, he got
or at least
that,
they're
but
trying to do it. They're getting a lot of
yeah.
pushback, like they did the first time around. Uh,
Oh
if you
god.
wanted mass deportations, all they had to do was vote Biden and Harris because they deported more people than Trump was able to manage during his first term.
Exactly. Like
I mean,
bro,
deportations were back up to Obama era levels. I mean, it's not for nothing that Obama was called the deporter in chief because he deported far more people than Trump could manage,
exactly. Like bro,
or
like
than
I
George
think I
W. Bush managed, just because he
yeah.
wanted to show his Republican credentials.
Bro, I think I quote tweeted this or another tweet he did. I said, "Bro, you did vote for war. You voted for Trump." Same way I would say about
Yeah,
Kamala Harris supporters. Same shit. And look at this person right here too. Even Kilgore. Um, this is not what I voted for. And I think
yes,
I
it
quote
is.
tweeted him and said, "Yes, it
That's
is."
absolutely what he. Yeah, it's absolutely what he voted for. We know this because you voted Republican,
Yeah,
and the people who voted Democrat voted for it too.
exactly, bro.
It's like the only
Oh,
difference between Trump and Harris on this is how much acceptance it would have gotten from the Democrat base.
yeah, yeah.
Because if you
That's the
notice,
only
the Democrat
difference.
base just disappears after election time,
They do.
and it's up to
Yeah,
the actual left to protest.
yeah. That what happens. Yep. Then when a Republican come in, then here they go going to the No Kings protest, which again, like people get mad at me for saying like you downplaying it. No, I'm not. The problem is that the same people that don't do shit when a Democrat is in office stay home, sip on Starbucks or whatever the fuck they eat, liberals eat,
Yeah,
Democrats eat, while the left are the ones out there protesting. Like what was these same people doing the pro-Palestine protests? Now, since Trump is doing the same thing Joe Biden is doing, um, now
yeah,
they out
and
there. Like,
yeah, and then
come
you've
on,
got
bro.
these tone deaf assholes showing up to the anti deportation protests with signs saying if Kamala was president, we'd be at brunch, basically telegraphing that the only reason we're pretending to care is that Trump is doing it. If Kamala Harris was in here, we wouldn't be here at all because we wouldn't care. We wouldn't even be acknowledging that this shit is going on, just like
Right.
happened under Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Total 100%, man. It's
It's
just
like they only show up when Republicans are in office, and otherwise, and then we get lectured. Oh, you shouldn't criticize people like this. You need to work. No, 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 no. Not criticizing them is one of the reasons why the left has no institutional power
that's why
and
the
can't
left
get
can't
anywhere
win.
within the Democrat Party because we keep trying to work with these people as though they can be counted on, as though they can
Yeah,
be swayed. They cannot be swayed. Okay, you are never going to convince the extreme right to come over to your way of thinking. If anything, the extreme right is going to cause you to come over to its way of thinking because it constantly gets you to self-censor and never push back on anything. And if you're not
exactly.
allowed to push back or criticize its bullshit, well, then at some point you stop questioning it and just start taking it at face value, because you're discouraged from uh, actually trying to verify any of this shit, and you just go to whatever right wing source is. Because if you try and go to what they call a left wing source, then they say, "Oh, that's a biased website, and you're being biased here."
Yeah, exactly. I see what you're talking about. Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
even the
So
Associated Press and the Hill couch their terms in establishment talking points.
yeah, yeah, and you know, about MAGA, like, yeah, like I think that even the anti-war faction of MAGA or the Republicans will cave to Trump. Yeah, you had
I think that's what
Steve
they
Bannon,
believe,
for
but
example.
Thomas Massey is a right wing asshole himself. He's simply part of
Yeah, yeah,
he's part of like the Rand Paul section of the party that is every bit as extreme right wing and authoritarian as long as it's from private corporations.
yeah,
So they're basically they just don't like to entanglements. And
right.
then you've got the other part of that, which is happy to go to war against China because they see it as their
Yeah,
biggest threat and priority.
Fucker
But
Carson.
if you were to remove China from the board, absolutely they would still want to go to war against Russia and Iran because, uh, again, it's like priorities. So, first they take out China, then Iran, and then Russia,
Yeah,
because Russia will have been isolated from its two biggest allies.
yeah, yeah. That's the goal to destabilize BRICS. Yeah,
Yeah. So no matter what, they're still, pro-war. They just want to go to war against a different country right away.
yeah, that's true.
Whereas the Biden and Harris regime and that faction of the establishment saw Russia as a greater immediate threat.
Right, exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. You brought up good points, man. Yeah, yeah, like Fucker Carlson, for example. Like going to a war, Iran is bad, but China, he talks about
Yeah,
China like all the time. I'm like,
yeah, that's a singular obsession. You got people like John Bolton who want to destroy Iran
yeah,
on behalf of Israel
true.
and destroy the Palestinians and all that, and
Yeah,
that's their thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to cut this short because my cousin and she we got to go and do a few
Oh, hey,
errands.
no
But
problem. I understand.
I got one more last like topic, then we can go. Man, you seen Hakeem Jeffries' statement about what Trump did?
I
Oh
wish
my
I
God,
hadn't.
me too, man. I forgot to screenshot it. Um, but I think I could try to find it. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'll try to find it right quick, Mike. Let me see. Shouldn't take that long. Um, yeah, man, it's it's crazy, man. The Democrats are just so fucking feckless, man. That's just
They are. They are
um.
truly worthless. Oh, yeah, we were
Here we go.
mentioning that one loser who sent you DMs. We got to roast this guy at some point.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and roast them. Yeah, let's go ahead, man. Yeah, I don't want to get it out because I'm gonna forget next episode. Oh my God. I can't believe that asshole literally came in my DMs. Like,
Yeah, yeah. This whole thing started because I posted disagreeing with a black activist take on the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This guy was saying it's a white supremacist story because supposedly she gets away without any consequences. And I made an argument citing actual sources that no, actually, she doesn't get away without consequences. She's effectively banished from the forest out of fear because she doesn't want to encounter the bears again. So, she never goes into the forest again. And that's just a modern iteration of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. The original story has her getting first chucked off the steeple of a church and then attempted to drown her, and I
oh
think an
God.
attempt to burn her.
Oh my
And
God.
the original tale, like the earliest known version, has her as an old woman who harasses the bears because supposedly they're trying to move above their station by getting themselves a house and furniture and all this other stuff. So so she ends up getting pretty much bitch slapped for her efforts, and then of course exiled eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
over time it changes because uh, but so I make a reasoned argument against it, and this guy says, "Oh, you're agreeing with this guy," and it's like, okay, you're an idiot, but because
Oh,
I cited the sources, and it's like, no, you're just
oh,
racist. Oh, no, you're sexist, and but he's calling me, saying that I'm throwing a teenage girl's temper tantrum. So I just kind of threw that back in his face and said, "Aren't you being sexist here by using teenage girl as though it's an insult?"
yeah. That's what he doing. Oh my
But he, but
God,
he's
bro.
uh, but he's mentioning you in posts, trying to shame you into dropping me for some.
Yeah, yeah. I guess he wanted me to counsel you. And I'm like, Mike didn't say anything that's worth counseling. Anyway, I don't counsel people unless they do some
Yeah, it's
derogatory.
like,
Like, he
why does
just
he think? Right. I mean,
what?
he says he's not a racist. He's calling me
Yeah,
the racist, but he's ordering you around like he has authority over you to tell you whom you can associate with.
yeah. Then he gonna mention me in y'all dialogue. I'm like, what I have to do with this? I didn't initiate this. Like,
Yeah,
so,
but yeah, I would love to see screenshots of that conversation
hold on. I
because
think I can pull it up right quick. Hold on. Oh my God, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. That shit is insane, man. Hold on. Let me see.
oh, and if you look at his profile image, he's got the word peace in the background, but it's misspelled. And he's saying
Yeah.
that I'm being an elitist because I mentioned that I have a master's in history.
What the?
It's like
Wow.
you can't even spell the word peace, as in we
Jesus.
want the opposite of war.
Oh my God, this guy, man.
So I'm beginning to realize, that this guy probably failed in school and is maybe bitter about it.
Yeah, I thought about that too, man. Um, okay. I'm finna pull it up right quick, man. This man wrote me a goddamn essay, bro. I'm like, really? Like, I don't fucking care about your background, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Pardon my glasses reflecting the screen. I'm
Oh, you good, man?
Yeah, my lighting is not all that great.
Here it is, man. Hold on, make it a little bit bigger. Cause Twitter, I don't like the way they got the messages laid out. There we go. Hold on. There we go, man. Um, it says, "Hey Andre, I hope you don't mind me reaching out directly." The fuck? I didn't ask for this. You were asking Left Independent who I am, so let me start there. Yeah, I did because I don't know who the fuck you are, dude. I follow a whole lot of people on Twitter. Like I don't. Oh jeez. This is the part right here. I'm a researcher, writer, geospatial analyst working at the intersection of public policy, radical theory, and liberation politics. My framework is rooted in anarchist capitalism, informed by thinkers like Malcolm X, Asada Shakur, Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, Paulo Freire, Severe, man, I botching these folks' names up, and others at the Black radical and decolonial traditions, along with other anarchist thinkers. My work focuses on counter mapping, narrative deconstruction, and challenging state and cellular ideologies across media and data. Now, Mike,
All right, so
do
he
I need
calls
to know all
himself a
that?
researcher, writer, and geospatial analyst, but he can't spell,
I know, man.
and he thinks
I
rattling
just,
off a bunch of black activist names somehow.
yeah, I guess
Uh,
that make them credible.
yeah,
Oh, it makes you so credible. Oh, like I give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck, bro. I can't believe this motherfucker came my DMs, but he ain't done yet. I'm the person Left Indy has been attacking on Twitter over the country's lead critique of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. What started as a thoughtful cultural analysis has turned into him mocking me, creating misogynistic and racially coded forever versions list, and placing me on that list,
oh
calling me
yeah, because
Timmy.
Yeah, I'll place people on that list just as just to troll people because it's like, dude, it's obvious you've never been laid and likely never will. I'm owning that.
Damn,
Yes, I
Mike.
did place them on that list.
Damn, Mike.
I placed quite a, yeah, I'll place people on that list because it's pretty obvious that they will never ever get any ratings.
Oh shit. Oh shit, Mike. I didn't even know what he was talking about forever versions list. Now, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah. If you click on someone's profile and it says see this person's lists or lists that they're on, that yeah, you'll be able to see that.
they,
But yeah, and I call him Timmy because, like I said last night in my live stream, you can go look at it. But yeah, Timmy is basically what I call it. It's the male version of Karen. All
yeah.
right. Timmy being in reference to the old Lassie TV shows from like the 50s and 60s, where uh, the border collie, which by the way was usually played by a male because it's bigger. So yeah,
Yeah.
Lassie was actually trans,
Oh
according to him.
god.
But
Oh,
but no, but yeah. So Timmy was the little blonde white kid who was constantly getting stuck somewhere in a dangerous situation, falling down the well or whatever. Um, that's basically what I refer to as the male version of a white Karen.
okay.
Because Karen is the dumb cunt who always wants to talk to the manager or call the cops on you
Oh yeah, god, yeah. Like yeah, I had a Karen
and
call the
tone
cops on
police
me
you
one
or
time.
whatever. Yeah, so Timmy is the
Yeah.
male version of that. So yeah, I'll call people Timmy just because yeah, you deserve to be called a Timmy. You're a fucking Timmy.
Timmy in a forever version. Damn, Mike. Mike,
Cassie
you be
is sick
covered
and
the
tired of
bell.
putting up with your bullshit. Next time she's just leaving you down the well.
Damn. And dismissing black critique with arrogant condescension while posturing as a left ally. What? Wow. So you can't call nobody names, so you're not considered a left ally. Like, dude, you started it. What the fuck? This issue isn't disagreement, it's that he hasn't engaged with any of the theorists I've mentioned above. And yet he's positioned himself as the voice of authority while openly disrespecting black creators and people doing the work. How are you disrespecting black creators? You're just making a
Yeah,
point
I'm not
about.
attack. I didn't actually attack the uh, posted that thread. I was attacking the argument being made
Yeah, exactly. I
because I
mean,
don't know the person who posted the original thread. Uh, for all I know, this person could be completely fine
yeah,
on other
yeah,
topics, but I just take issue with historical revisionism because I feel that it actually harms uh, black and brown activism by creating a false narrative that right wingers then use to say, oh, look, they're trying to rewrite history, and then they can force their own dishonest version of history onto people and pass it off as the truth. And so it's like two wrongs don't make a right. History has only one truth, and then you have to try and uncover what that is. And obviously, your understanding of the truth can change, based on new information that comes out. But you know, all you have to do is actually just look up the history of the story of Goldilocks to say, look, this isn't about a white girl who gets away with theft and vandalism without consequences. No, she actually has consequences uh, that are doled out to her. So I don't know what consequences this guy thinks should have been in the modern version of the tale.
yeah,
I mean, she's effectively banished herself out of fear from it. She never bothers the bears again.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
did you expect her to get arrested by the forest police or something, or to have them eat her or whatever? I mean, in the
Oh,
older
jeez.
versions of the tale, they chuck her off a roof. That's not
Yeah.
punishment for you.
It's even more vile
They try
than.
to drown her in a lake. I mean, is that not punishment?
Oh my god, bro! I can't believe this
I mean,
guy
they
came
don't
in.
even give her a proper name for crying out loud. How is that
Oh wow.
maintaining white supremacy?
Oh god. It says this kind of rhetoric serves no constructive purpose in leftist discourse. and it actively harms black political spaces by centering white fragility and ego. I'm reaching out to you out of respect, giving you a chance to speak with him off platform before I speak more publicly. What? Like, what am I supposed to do? Tell Mike not to criticize a black person about Goldilocks in the Three Bears? Like, bro,
Yeah,
Mike,
apparently
what?
just criticizing a black person is
What?
racism. It's like, I'm sorry, but
Man, this guy, bro, I tell you.
cri- criticism should not be limited just because you're afraid of being viewed as being racist. Okay, that's actually racist. Not to criticize
Exactly.
someone based on skin color because you're afraid of being called racist. I mean, that's like, I don't complain when people criticize me.
Me either.
It's like
A white
if I
person
say something you
better.
disagree with, fine, I don't care.
Yeah.
If you do it
Yeah.
disrespectfully, yeah, I'll call you out and go to town on you. But I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
I don't mind if people disagree with me.
Oh, God, man. You can tell this guy, man. Yeah, he don't get laid, Mike.
It's like,
Hell
yeah,
no.
I don't view people of color or trans people or any other minority group as being like helpless children who need to be protected from all criticism or any
Everybody, everybody needs some sort of criticism. That's how
yeah
you get be better as a person. That's why
yeah
I
it's
always
like,
ask.
yeah, it's like people are human beings first and foremost. All right,
Yeah,
I don't see them as being off limits for bad behavior.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Like
for example, like,
if you think equality is just being able to do what white people do and not have any criticism, then you're missing the whole point of liberation.
yep, exactly. Another example, like, I always ask you and Liz to critique the way I do my shows. Maybe I'm not doing something right, or maybe I need to talk about a particular topic more.
No, you're doing
Like, I
right.
don't.
I think it's just tough right now for anyone, especially if you're new and a small channel just starting off. I mean, it's very
Yeah,
tough to break into the right algorithms. I mean,
yeah.
I still struggle with that years later.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Mike, Willie Bragg do too, and Extra Buller and all of them, man. Like, yeah. Let me continue reading it. It says, "This isn't drama; it's political accountability. And silence in the face of this kind of behavior undermines the very struggle we're supposed to be advancing." What?
Notice this is a white boy talking to you like this.
I can't believe this motherfucker, man. I tell you. Oh God, man. I can't, man. I tell you. I appreciate your time and the work you do. Let me know if you want to talk more directly in solidarity. Now, I could have cursed his ass out after he texted me that on Monday morning, out of all days. Like, Monday is the worst day for me. This motherfucker, I'm telling you, man.
Monday
Oh
morning at
God.
6:12 in the morning. That's
In
like stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, man.
Right
Like,
when
what
that
the fuck?
oppressive sun is just peeking over the horizon to pull you out of a nice dream.
Oh God. So
You
basically, he
haven't
was
even
saying
had
with
your morning coffee yet
yeah, I didn't.
or
Yeah, I didn't
breakfast.
go to the gym yet. I ain't had my
Yeah.
morning run. Like, what the fuck, bro? Oh my God, bro. Oh, these people is so fucking, man. These people are so fucking stupid on Twitter, man. I'm telling you. So basically saying, I should talk to you about not calling him names and set him straight because I'm a black man. Like, what? I
Does he
just don't
not
know, Mike.
realize how racist and tone deaf that is?
Oh my God.
It's like,
Yeah, man.
it's kind of like how people treat Asian and especially Chinese people on Twitter. It's like, yeah, they'll pile on them and try and get them doxxed and report it to the authorities. And but then, the moment they get into trouble, they expect the Chinese person to come to their rescue. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh shit, man.
Or it's like when
Yeah.
they tell Keffels, even though I mean, Keffels has her, don't get me wrong, all right, but she was the one actually helping to raise money for people to get out of dangerous places, and also taking on anti-trans hate websites like Kiwi Farms, and which apparently came back, unfortunately. But the things she got for that was to be doxed, swatted, where basically someone called the cops on her and sent them to her house with the aim to kill her, or at least terrify her, to the point where she had to move,
Yeah.
like to physically relocate herself, and then ended up in rehab because of the psychological damage,
Mm-hmm.
driving her to drink and do drugs. So, and of
Yeah.
course, after she got out, then she got uh, brought into the extreme right by Vaush, everyone's
Oh
favorite
God.
Lolicon or Shotokan
Yeah.
fan, who
Oh God,
exposed
man.
himself in more ways than one.
Yeah. I think Vosh is a op, man.
Oh,
Talking
he's
about ops.
definitely a Fed. I mean, I have suspect
Yes.
Dreaded J, aka Kunta J, of being a Fed, but Vosh is definitely a Fed. He's definitely on the government payroll. I'm 99%
Yes.
certain.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, oh God. So yeah, Mike. Hate to cut it short, but I gotta go. Any last words, man?
Uh, Good luck to the people of Iran.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely, man. Uh, yeah. One last thing before we go. Man, I really hope we don't get to the point where a lot of the military come home in body bags because, yeah, like, cause things are looking
Yeah,
real bleak
Iran's
right
not
now.
going to take this lying down. But Israel started this war without any thought of what would happen if Iran fought back. The United States entered into it without any thought of what would happen.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the gloves are
So
off. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? That they would just roll over and surrender? It's not happening.
no, that was Trump out. That was Trump out. Oh, we hit their
The-
nuclear
These
sites.
clown shoes have an overinflated sense of American military might.
Yeah, they do. They think they're God. The United States government thinks they're God, man.
It's
I
pure and
don't know,
simple.
like using that supremacy, yeah. So the supremacy clause, but yeah, yeah. So, all right, guys, that wraps up episode 14 of the A&M podcast. Thank you so much for watching us, man. Follow us on ATP Network, and also to y'all give Mike some follows on Twitter, man. Like Mike have some bangers too on Twitter. He deserves more traction than what he getting. We know the algorithms and stuff is fucking with all of the left, not just him or me. And also too, Mike's donations, like Mike's GoFundMe. He's unemployed, so hit him up with a few dollars or share it on your platforms or whatnot. It's in the link in the description of all platforms, so it's
Any
so
amount
it's there.
helps and is appreciated. Believe me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. So all right, Mike. See you next week, my guy.
hey, see you next week.
All right.